All right, let's talk about Amazon Route 53. It's one of those services in the cloud that's absolutely critical, but a lot of people don't quite get what it really does. By the end of this, I promise you, you're going to see it as way more than just some simple utility. Okay, so if you want to wrap your head around Route 53, just think of it like the ultimate GPS for the internet. And I'm not talking about just any old GPS that gives you turn-by-turn directions. Nope, this is about finding the smartest, the fastest, and the most reliable route for all your users' traffic, no matter where they are on the planet. But before we can really appreciate all the cool things Route 53 can do, we've got to take a quick step back. We need to talk about the foundation it's all built on, and that is the Domain Name System, or DNS. I mean, really think about it for a second. Every day, right, you type a website into your browser, but have you ever stopped to wonder how it actually works? How does your computer, which only really speaks in numbers, find that one specific server out of the billions connected to the internet? How does it know where to go? Well, the magic behind all of that is DNS. The classic analogy, and it's a good one, is to think of it as the internet's giant global phone book. Its whole job is to take the names we humans understand, like example.com, and translate them into the numeric IP addresses that computers need to actually talk to each other. And that's really the heart of it. A name goes in, a number comes out. It sounds simple, but this little translation, it happens billions, probably trillions of times every single second across the globe. It's the invisible engine powering pretty much everything you do online, from checking a website to sending an email. Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this all work in the real world, inside of AWS? Well, when you decide to manage your domain with Route 53, the very first thing you're going to do is create something called a hosted zone. So, what is a hosted zone? Easiest way to think of it is as your domain's personal control panel, right there inside AWS. It's just a container, a place where you'll put all the records and all the rules that tell Route 53 exactly how to handle traffic for that specific domain. So how do you actually make the switch? It's surprisingly easy, just 3 little steps. Step 1, you create that hosted zone we just talked about. As soon as you do, Route 53 gives you 4 unique name servers. Think of these as the new official addresses for your domain's DNS. Then, for the final step, you just copy and paste those 4 server names over to wherever you bought your domain in the first place, your domain registrar. And that's it. Boom! You've just told the entire internet to start asking AWS for directions to your site. All right, so the internet knows where to ask for directions. Now we actually have to give it some directions. And the way we do that is by creating things called records inside our hosted zone. Let's cover the big 3, the ones you'll use all the time. First up, the A record. This is the most basic one. It just points a name, like your website, directly to a server's IP address. Simple. Then you've got the MX record. The M is for mail. This record tells the internet where to deliver all the email for your domain. And finally, there's the CNAME, which is basically a nickname. It lets you point one domain name to another domain name. Okay, those are the standard records you'll find everywhere. But now we get to where things get really cool. See, Route 53 has a special trick up its sleeve. It's a unique type of record called an alias record. And honestly, it's kind of like a superpower. So here's the deal. With a normal CNAME, you can't use it on your main domain, what we call the root domain. But with a Route 53 alias record, you absolutely can. And what's more, instead of pointing to just another domain name, it points directly to your AWS resources, like a load balancer or a CloudFront distribution. This is huge because it means if the IP address of that resource ever changes, the record updates automatically. And the best part? For these specific lookups, AWS doesn't even charge you. So, why should you care about this? Well, it means you can use your main domain, example.com, without the www, and point it straight to your sophisticated AWS setup. That's a big deal. It also means your site is more resilient because it just adapts to changes behind the scenes. And yeah, it literally saves you money on your AWS bill. It's just a flat-out smarter way to hook everything together. Okay, so basic records are like the building blocks. They're essential. But now we're going to level up and talk about the really powerful stuff. The real magic of Route 53 is in its advanced, intelligent routing policies. This is where we stop thinking of it as a phone book and start seeing it as that ultimate GPS we talked about. Think about it. A simple A record is kind of dumb, right? It just sends every single person who visits your site to the exact same server. But what if your users are all over the world?
What if you want to make things faster? Or what if you need a plan for when that one server inevitably goes down?
Let's start with a common problem. Let's say you have a server in Europe and another one in Asia. How do you make sure your European users go to the European server and your Asian users go to the Asian one, to give them a much faster experience? The answer is geolocation routing. It's exactly what it sounds like. You can set up a rule that says, hey, Route 53, if a request comes from somewhere in Europe, send them to this IP address. If it comes from Asia, send them to that one. It's a super powerful way to cut down on lag, and you can even use it to show different content based on location. It's just smart. Okay, geography is great, but what if you're obsessed with speed? What if your only goal is to give every single user the absolute fastest connection possible, no matter where they are or what the internet weather looks like that day? For that, you need latency-based routing. This is where Route 53 really flexes. See, AWS is constantly measuring internet speed and delay, latency, all over the globe. When a user tries to access your site, Route 53 looks at its real-time map and asks, okay, for this specific user right now, which of my servers can answer them the fastest? And it sends them there. It's all about performance, pure and simple. And that brings us to maybe the most important question of all, especially if you're running a serious application. What happens when things break? What's your plan B for when your main server goes offline? This is where failover routing comes in to save the day. You set up what's called a health check, which is just Route 53 constantly checking in on your primary server, asking, hey, you still there? The very instant that server fails to respond, Route 53 just flips a switch. It automatically redirects 100% of your traffic to your healthy backup server. It's so fast and seamless, your users probably won't even notice anything happened. So let's pull back and look at the big picture here. Once you start using these advanced features, you're not just doing that simple name to a number thing anymore. Not at all. You've basically become the conductor of a global orchestra of internet traffic. You're directing everything to ensure the best possible performance, the highest resilience, and a better experience for every single one of your users. So here's the bottom line. With tools like these, your application's traffic routing literally has superpowers. The only question left is, what are you going to build with them?